Hi, I'm Kathy, and 89% of you have more functional brain in your head than I do. That's the weird title. 11th percentile means that's the percentile I fall in for the amount of healthy brain tissue in my head. Kind of a scary place to be, but I'm dealing. So, I wanted to talk today about something weird called Pseudobulbar Affect. And that is P-S-U-E or E-U, something like that, but it's pseudo, which makes it sound kind of like it's fake. It's definitely not fake. Affect is your appearance of emotions, your affect, like I'm sad, I'm happy. Those are affects. It's how you present yourself, like a very depressed affect might be like this. Or super excited affect might be like this. But what pseudobulbar, and bulbar I think is a part of the brain, I'll count on someone to correct me if I'm wrong about that, pseudobulbar affect occurs in brains that are significantly damaged, often due to stroke or other neurological conditions that work to shrink or change the brain in a way that your body really can't compensate or rewire for. Pseudobulbar affect is essentially your emotions, though triggered, you have an emotion, don't come out the way they should. So in other words, you could, for instance, tell me that yesterday you had to have your cat put to sleep. And I might very well feel terrible about that and want to express to you how terrible I feel about that. But when the emotion is triggered, it might be, and then, of course, I'm horrified. And they're horrified. And I never had any control over this. Now, the worst for me was tears. Tears for everything. Tears for frustration, copious tears when people would normally cry. A little tear, like maybe for a sentimental Christmas movie or something. You might let a little tear shed. I would sob. The least little bit of like not being able to open a jar, not being able to reach something at the grocery store, not being able to find my pencil, anything like that would set off torrents of unreasonable tears, just waterfalls of unreasonable tears. There was, for a long time, I thought something was wrong with my brain, but I didn't know there was an actual thing that was not psychiatric and not psychological that was causing this behavior. I can't really do an example of it anymore because I'm on the medication that successfully treats pseudobulbar affect. That medication is called Nuedexta. And if you are experiencing weird emotional showings or displays that you know aren't intentional, that aren't things that you mean to display, it doesn't mean you need to see a psychiatrist. It might be your neurologist that you need to tell about these abnormal emotional displays. Now, my doctor saw a few of them. He would step into the office and I would be glad and relieved to see him and suddenly burst into tears. So naturally, when you do that, the people around you, your doctor, whoever, wants to find out why you're upset, but you're not upset. And it's incredibly, incredibly frustrating. It's also something that causes a lot of social anxiety. I sequestered myself from society. I stayed away from people. I didn't want to go into stores. It's very humiliating to cry in public. Imagine standing in the middle of a grocery store, sobbing uncontrollably. People coming up to you saying, "What do you need? How can we help you?" And you can't explain. It's something stupid. It's something I can't reach it. And people used to say, "Wow, you really need to get control of yourself. You just need to take a few deep breaths. You're really overreacting." Well, yes, I'm really overreacting. And I saw a doctor, a psychiatrist for this. We treated it with antidepressants, which don't work. We treated it with things like Abilify, which don't work. Nothing works except Nuedexta. I remember having asked a previous MS specialist if I possibly had pseudobulbar affect after I found out what it was. At the time, they responded, yeah, you probably do, but there's nothing we can do about it. It wasn't for about 5 more years that Nuedexta came to market. It has changed my life. It has changed my husband's life, obviously. But I want to tell you, if you are experiencing pseudobulbar affect, maybe you can send people here to describe to them what's going on and that it is a result of multiple sclerosis and that you're not just being an emotional wreck and you're not just overreacting. You can't help it. And be on the lookout for it. If you're having what you think are like psychiatric symptoms and you can't help displaying them to the world, it could very well be pseudobulbar affect. So look it up, learn about it. It's one of the more rare conditions in MS, but it's one of the ones that makes your life miserable. I still have lasting social anxiety. I'm a complete extrovert, but I still have lasting social anxiety from it. But again, another happy note to end a video on. I'm working through that social anxiety, and I hope you found this interesting, at least, if not helpful. And I think I've already got in mind for my next video is going to be something about the meaning of life. So, and trying to live a meaningful life with MS in the ways that MS can get in the way of that. So if you have any questions about pseudobulbar, please include them in the comments. Click subscribe or like or whatever if you feel like it. And I appreciate you watching. And until next time, I'm not a medical professional. Remember not to take any of my advice as medical gospel. A medical professional is probably right, more so than me. I say probably, that's very weird, but and I hope that you're living your best life with MS. Bye for now.